3.
Okay, we do have a quorum,
4?
4 out of the 7 would be.
Oh, I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
told you 5, right? I lied.
Sorry. Approval of, I don't even know what month it was, February's
We have February and March.
and March agenda, or, excuse me, we need to approve the agenda first
Okay.
for
I
tonight.
move to approve the agenda.
Second?
Okay, a motion by Kathy Lee, second by Eric to approve tonight's agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion carries. Now we can get approval of the past minutes. February's are there. I will make a motion to approve February and March minutes.
I will second your motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second by Kathy Lee to approve the past minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Financial report.
So you got your flower money?
I got,
that's cool.
yes, that check to me was flowers for Jack Steinbring's funeral.
Mhm.
And it was, the card did read, Ripon's Historic Preservation Commission. So that's what we had spent, and we have available $3,657.82.
Sounds right. Yep.
So,
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
motion by Kathy Lee, second by Eric to accept the financial report. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No opposition, so that passes. There is no public comment. So it takes us right to the business tonight of certificate of appropriateness for 301 Watson Street signage. Y'all got the
Yeah.
papers in your packet with a picture. Craig T-Bond and I have talked a lot, and Craig has been in contact with the owners of the building. My first thought, along with Craig's, and it doesn't mean that it's, law or anything, was the sign should go centered over the door. Just because that building is basically symmetrical. Yet if you look at it, everything is, it's balanced out.
But it's a corner building.
It's a corner building. So our thoughts,
How would you put it in the center, John, without covering up that?
Yeah, that's a really cool thing there.
you would come out, and Craig had a picture of it, and I tried like 10 times to download it and print it off tonight.
Oh,
I couldn't get it. What it was basically was like a rod coming straight out with above it 2 guide arms,
okay.
and then the sign just hung from that.
Okay. So, to hold it.
Yes, basically, yeah.
Okay. I actually am not opposed to the corner because of the corner. I am not opposed to the front center either.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of neutral.
Yeah, and I'm preferable to having it on the corner, because I think historically this building has always had them up on that spot.
Okay,
I don't really think there was ever really a whole lot of signage above that door. I think in the past photos that I've seen, even when it was the bank and stuff, it was always right up that, kind of that column,
yeah.
that corner
I
column.
think it was in there somewhere, wasn't it?
Hi, Terry.
Or on
No, I
that
think it was
corner.
out on the face front, kind of right where they're planning on putting it now.
Okay, okay. Well, Dave had mentioned there's a lot of holes in that spot, so
Yep.
there probably was.
Yeah, I think it was up higher, but at this point, I think this is probably more in line with the current ordinances anyways, as far as how high you can put it, so.
9/11.
Okay.
So 10 feet's good as far to the bottom? They all seem about that
Yes,
height
and,
and,
and that, again, I always rely on Susan Leahy
Yeah.
for the square footage of the sign
Mm-hmm,
and the height.
right.
okay.
Um,
And she was cool?
Yes, she's fine with that.
All right.
I understand what you're saying, but I do believe it would take away
Mhm.
from that,
Okay,
architecture of the building, so.
all right.
So it is a cool design over the top of that door.
It is,
Yeah.
it's very cool.
Yeah,
I'll just get Terry briefed, on the sign above 301.
Mm-hmm.
Craig T-Bon and myself thought because the building is so symmetrical, it should be centered. And right now, the consensus is let's not block that above the door and go to the corner.
Leave it on the corner where
Leave
it's
it
at.
on the corner, that's where we're at right now.
the architecture is so nice there. Well, can I say something?
Yes, you say,
So I was concerned about the dark, glow-in-the-dark vinyl,
okay,
and I'm just kind of curious, is there, it says this is the night view, so basically you won't see anything but the floret, and then CBD store. What color is that gonna be? Is that gonna be an obnoxious yellow, or is it gonna be a soft green like this?
as far as I understand from Craig, it's that soft green.
Okay. Makes me nervous.
I know, I've never seen one in person, I've never had.
Mm-mm. But I've had work done by, Adam at Blue Design, reflective work, and it's actually pretty.
Okay, probably, might possibly be the same product then, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Um,
He does great stickers. Yeah, I don't think
It's so hard to put any contingencies on that, because once they have it made enough, and then if we say we don't like it,
Nothing happened,
Right.
that crazy wood one. Mhm. Terry, what do you think? Anything?
I had the same question on the illumination that you had, so
Yeah.
we covered that. And when I looked at it too, I could understand why they decided on the corner because, you know, why cover up the architecture if we don't have to?
Yeah.
and they actually got signage right on the door,
Yep.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
so.
and the address, isn't it?
And one thing, long-term, you know, a strategic plan of Ripon is to get more people to park behind the 300 block of Ripon.
Right,
So if they would come in that way, they would, you know, you would see the signage off the corner possibly.
so you know you're approaching
Yeah.
Main Street.
Right, so that could be a good thing, you know, closer to the corner. I don't know if you'll be able to see it around, that's not right on the corner, correct?
No,
You don't see it as that,
No, it's in that,
It's right close to the corner.
Yeah, I think it's on that corner
Yeah,
of the building, but it's still, I think it's square off, it appears to me like it's square off from the building.
that's what,
yeah, maybe
towards
you
Watson
couldn't
Street.
see it right
Yeah.
now that you say that. What is that, Bloom? What's the
Yeah.
name of that street?
Blossom,
I mean, Blossom.
yeah. Yeah, okay, well,
Since everything else is legal, the sign and the height, I mean, the, inches.
right, the square footage of the sign.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm also just leery of what that's gonna look like at night, but again, we can't say
It
contingent
doesn't say
upon our approval.
XXX, dancing
Oh,
girls.
I think it'll be fine. It's not gonna be
I think it will be too. I haven't,
electronically lit, you know,
No,
it's
right.
just some
Right.
sort of glowing type
Right,
of lettering.
that's why I'm kinda surprised it's
hopefully the
dark.
rendering is actually what it's gonna
And I think, yes.
be what it is.
mhm.
Mhm.
2 inches thick, that seems like a lot for not having anything inside of it.
to be a frame around the board too.
Oh, okay.
That's just a side view.
Cause there is, it does
So I don't
look
know if
like
it's
a
actually-
frame.
Yeah,
So it kind of encapsulates it.
yeah, I think there's a frame around it.
Yeah,
Okay.
usually they come out the side, there's inserts that you take out and then the sign pops out and then you can,
Oh.
so you can replace, put in.
Alright. Well, I'll make a motion to approve the sign as it's been submitted.
A second?
Okay, there's a motion by Kathy Lee, second by Eric. Any more discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, this goes back a couple months, the historic designation for 16 Union Street. Bob Wessels is the owner, he has the papers. He hasn't gotten back to me, so it must still be in the process.
That's the little red house.
Yes, the little brick, it was the original post office.
So that was in the works when those people were there in that long house? Is that the?
It's the rest.
Yes, the rest of them,
Rest of
yes,
them, yeah.
exactly. Mhm. And he may be doing more research on it, I thought he had a lot, if not all of the research already, but
Okay.
I can contact him, I see him every so often.
Alright.
So we'll put that one back on.
So
for
when
next
he
month.
says he wants historic designation, what do we need to provide for him?
Nothing.
Okay.
He has, the owner fills out the paperwork, and then we get the, it's like a, I don't know, two or three page form.
Okay,
Then we get it for review, and if we have more information, we can add to
Okay.
it. And if not, then we can approve it, or,
Okay.
pass it on, and then it goes to,
That goes to get registered at Register of Deeds in
yes,
Fond du Lac,
I
right?
believe it goes to city council,
Okay.
they approve it, and then it goes to register of deeds, and we can't forget that.
Right.
We all know that problem.
Right.
Okay, then we'll go on to the Haas Brewery stable. I've been kicking it around, what we're gonna do, this city-owned property. I myself have been pushing for them to repair the roof, just to keep it watertight, and open for ideas on anything we
How-
feel.
If the roof was done, how bad are some of those columns that it's just gonna
That,
ruin the roof that you put on it?
oh, if it's not done, or what?
No, if you replace the roof and some of those columns are so bad that one corner's really starting to,
The entire roof won't be replaced, there's just
just
one-
patching it to
just-
keep it
yes,
watertight.
It's a
Okay.
section on the front left-hand gable, and a piece of the fascia will be replaced, and some of the tin.
what's your goal in replacing it? Your goal, what are you trying to, like,
Just to keep the water,
save it from just
more
falling?
damage, yeah, yes. But I was inside it this spring, I got pictures which I can print out sometime and show you, or we can have a field trip there even someday,
Maybe when it's 99
yeah.
instead
So
of,
it-
it's nice warm day.
It's a unique and it's an awesome building. Unfortunately, the footings underneath and some of the wood beams are starting to rot, so.
So if you preserve the roof by fixing it, do you think those other things are gonna come apart pretty quickly?
I would say they will eventually.
Yeah,
Yes,
but you're like 3 to 5 years or,
right, it's down the road, yeah. But as a city-owned building, I don't believe we as a city can ask somebody else to upkeep their property by ordinance, and we don't upkeep our own.
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
So I think it's a good thing.
Are you meeting opposition on that? Or not?
It's just, not really, it's
It's
just kinda getting,
Uh,
to the
That's-
side.
It's not,
there's no money.
it's not high on the
And-
priority list.
Correct, and I got a bid from a local contractor, and he, you know, the bid is up to $2,000, not to exceed $2,000.
Sure.
So, it's not the end of the world for the city,
Right.
it's just $2,000
Right.
at the most.
Yep.
I had an idea to approach, the owners of AFK Foundry, cause they bought the metal building behind them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they could turn it into an office space. I don't know, it would be, it's a unique property.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna take a special person to stick the money into it.
Right.
Handicapped in the mind, like ours.
The what?
Handicapped in the mind, like our property. Gonna be crazy.
Yeah. But, you know, as everybody knows, I think we just gotta keep our ears open, if somebody's interested, then
Sure.
just push them towards it, push them towards the city, and they can look into it, and,
Aaron was the one who used to write articles for the paper, right?
yes.
Maybe I can sick Steve on that, cause he writes for, is it Ian or Ian? I say Ian, he says Ian.
I say Ian.
Ian.
Okay, so
yeah, but-
we can maybe submit something about it, you know, like this is what it started off as, and
Mhm.
now the city is selling it. And if you're interested, call
That would be awesome,
Cherry
yeah.
Ravita.
That's why I had on there even a Facebook page.
Yeah, yeah.
Just to get something out there.
Yeah, I think if there was an article, like she said, you'd see what kind of interest there is in it,
Sure.
even, even local interest into preserving it.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be really cool if somebody stepped up.
How much land goes with that?
That's a good question.
The city owns a little behind it towards that other metal building, I don't know how much, in that, there's like a driveway parking lot area.
Yep.
And then
But
they
then,
have everything
yes.
up to the lot, well, the library is all part of that lot.
yep, it's all the way up to the road then on Jefferson Street.
Okay.
After the water, you
Oh,
know?
is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
cause they got the whole
Parking lot there?
R-line,
Yep.
you know, property there.
Yeah, they own all, the city owns all that, cause I work for Heritage and we're in that building.
The city owns that metal, you know, the old
Yep.
country cupboard
Okay.
and that metal building.
Okay, they own all that in there, from the
So
library?
past the
Mhm, yeah.
water,
From the
Yes.
library, that whole corner.
Okay, I did not know that.
Mhm. So that was another idea kicked around, lift it, move that barn ahead onto that property, get it off the creek. That kinda met some opposition with Ripon's Historical Society, because then it's moved off.
oh,
the
come on.
But
That's
I
not
was
the original
told
site.
it's not the original site. It
Right.
originally was either back or forward, and they moved it over the creek.
Mm-hmm.
Steve just did a Facebook.
And I
thing.
believe that when I looked, you know, I do believe that,
There's over 100 significant buildings in Ripon that have been moved,
yeah.
so.
Or
That's
the other
kinda weak.
possibility, the creek was moved. That creek has,
Oh.
people, you know, dig something and
Right.
they divert it a different way,
The creek is kinda cool though, part of
yeah.
it.
It is, but you, if you leave where it's at, it's gotta be raised, because when that creek goes over,
Oh,
that whole
right.
the whole
Yeah.
parking lot's underwater.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
I've not seen this.
Well, it acts like a dam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh.
everything catches there.
Yep. Has there ever been any pricing done to see what it would take to either move it or, Fix
Not
the
at, not at the
foundation?
city level that I know of, no.
should see what we're looking at?
I'm guessing
Money-wise.
it's gonna be quite a bit.
What is the historical significance of the building?
It was the Haas Brewery stable barn, where they, you know, housed their horses, that pulled the wagons for the beer. And the significant, I don't know when it was moved, or the creek was moved, whichever.
Right.
When the creek got under it, I don't know, it was like right before the turn of the century.
Okay,
And so it dates back quite a bit.
okay.
Um,
It's a really cool looking building. I mean, I hate to see it go down.
Right. I think everybody would, but then again, there's
Now you gotta pay for it.
everything.
Part of the problem is finding the right person to that can use it.
Yeah,
Cause
like
it just
what-
sitting there vacant
Could it
doesn't
be
help it.
retail?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, well, if there's no more discussion on that, I'll put it back on next month's agenda, and
Sure.
we'll see if we got any other
And I'll
ideas.
ask Steve about that.
Pardon?
I'll ask Steve.
Okay, that would be great if you could, yeah, write an article. Next is 230 Watson Street, American House property.
That's such a sad situation.
It is, and every so often Craig T-Bone will call me and say, well, we had an interest, somebody, you know, from out of town or somebody is interested, and then it just kinda
Sure,
fades.
does it?
I think Craig's a wonderful guy, but I can't imagine that he wouldn't just sit on them and make them take it. If there was really an
Oh,
offer.
yeah. Well, yeah, I'm not saying offer, just
Or I
interest,
mean
you know.
interest, yeah.
um,
I
So-
guess it's all in what you consider interest. If somebody
Mhm.
calls about it, that's not really interest, but.
Right,
Well, part of it could be just the state of that building.
Oh, it's-
Somebody, I'd be interested in it until you walk in it, and then it's a whole
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
deal.
Mhm.
mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it's
And,
prime
yeah.
real estate really, right on the corner.
It is, it's prime, and it's a large building, two stories.
They fixed the awning, I saw, noticed.
Well, the
Didn't they?
roof's coming
They just put a tarp on
is
it.
a problem, right?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
So you're getting all the water in there, and now you got mildew
Oh, it's past
Oh,
that.
you
Yeah,
got way
it's
past
got-
mildew.
in there, and
Yeah.
now it's,
Yeah.
you're
The whole-
talking a lot of money to
The
put a
whole place
roof
needs
on.
to be
It's like a
abated.
pharmacy.
Yeah.
And we did get
Bacteria.
prices for city council to abate it. I think it was $127,000 to abate it.
So that means what, to tear it down?
No,
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 To
to
clean it up?
get the mold, asbestos, and lead,
Really to gut the inside.
basically.
you got the gut,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what you'd be doing.
The holy
Yeah.
three.
And what's a new roof cost?
I heard-
Last time I checked on it, it was a few years ago. I got a quote on it, it was about 80,000, so at this point, you might as well just figure 100.
Right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Right.
That's what Tom was looking at.
even a
few
free
years
building,
ago.
that building would be expensive.
I mean, yeah, you buy it,
Yeah.
and you already own,
Mhm.
I mean, you already owe.
Cause it's gonna take you 2.25 to have a shell.
Correct. Mhm.
You think if somebody bought it to put parking inside of there, figured out how to, you know, which, that'd get approved?
Personally, I think at city, well,
I know they.
council
tried
has
that.
changed now, so I don't know.
It's all up in the air.
It's
There's four-
everything, yeah.
Yep,
And
got four
it
new and a
would
new
still have
mayor.
to go through us also,
Oh,
you know, to
Yeah.
get, to do the final,
Right.
certificate of appropriateness to demolish it or whatever that's called, so.
yeah.
um, It's a city-owned building, so it may, you know, in our previous mayor, he wanted it down and a parking lot.
Okay,
His thoughts were, it's more sellable if it's just barren ground.
Yeah, but it has value too, the outside.
Yes, it has, I mean,
I mean, if
as
somebody.
you know, to replicate that would be,
right.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of money.
cause it's brick, right? It's
Mhm.
not,
Mhm.
yeah. Cause you could pretty easily turn that into a parking facility.
Mhm.
Demo's pretty pricey too, though.
The demo was, just a little over 100,000. If I remember right, they were gonna get 2 local contractors to team up to tear it down. So the demo and the abatement are almost identical, say that.
Sure.
And there is, the city had, I believe it's called the closeout money from Fond du Lac County, which can be used
Mhm.
for that.
For,
or
Is it significant? What is it? Do you know?
the demo cost, $100,000.
I mean, sorry, the, money from the city toward that.
It would be money that we would get from the county.
Oh, okay.
It wouldn't be a loan, it would be money used specifically for that.
So if it was demoed, it'd end up another green spot on Watson
Yes. Or parking,
Asphalt.
or asphalt.
asphalt, yeah.
The sign. Put up a parking lot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any architectural salvage worth getting in that building? Have you seen anything?
Out of the
decent?
inside?
Yeah,
No, because when it was remodeled into the American House and it was that assisted living space, it was
Okay.
remodeled then.
so it's
So there's
basically-
nothing,
Alright.
there's nothing inside
Historic,
of any historic value, cause it was aluminum framed windows and
Yeah.
storefront glass and
Yeah.
all of that, and new drywall and framing, and there's an elevator and a shaft in there. I would assume that even if somebody took that building on, they'd probably have to replace that.
Mhm.
yeah.
There is some tin ceiling that I did see,
Probably that was buried up in,
But it-
basically in that
been looted,
entryway
too.
straight up.
Got
so-
it.
What?
There's been people in there, they broke all the ceramic sinks and johns and this, when we went to see it, it was pretty beat up.
Okay.
The windows were in between, were all
well,
broke
they got
up.
in there again, whatever wasn't broke is now.
Oh, what is
Did they
that?
get in recently, or?
It just seems to
I
me
think it was
like,
last fall.
Okay, yeah.
geez,
so that-
that's recent.
It was a mess when I was in there, yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you have an idea of what the city wants for the building?
They would probably take $1.
Because
I don't- To
if-
be honest with you.
When we
Mhm.
finish the article about this
Mhm.
cost, maybe we can write an article about this.
Yeah.
And just see if it stirs any interest and even a phone call.
No, when I say $1,
I know
the,
you're
the
kidding.
person, even for the Red Barn or 230 Watson, they would have to come in with a proposal that would kind of guarantee, or however the
Sure.
city want, that we're gonna
Something's gonna
buy it
happen.
for $1, but we're gonna do this for it.
Yeah,
Um,
here's
So
our
it
plan.
returns to the tax roll,
Right.
at a certain
So
value.
it collects taxes for
Yes.
the city.
Correct.
Mhm.
Yeah, they would be foolish to sell it for $1, and then that
sit
person
there and
tears
still
it down.
sustain,
Or-
or that.
And then he has a parking lot himself and charges $1 per car. I mean, then
Yeah.
it's really very little tax, but
Sure.
that
We
would-
have a
He
neighbor.
probably wouldn't even get his money back though,
Probably.
around here.
A dollar.
No, as bad as people don't like to use the free parking behind the 300 block
Yeah,
and up
Right.
above the 200 block, there's, all that free parking, they
Yeah.
just keep driving around. There's no way they'll pull into a dollar.
No,
Dollar
I will not do it.
I don't know.
He'd never get his dollar back.
yeah.
Or just off the top of your head, Terry, what could you see going in there? Anything come to mind?
Well, I've never been in there, so I don't know quite the square footage.
That's big.
Ooh,
It's
big.
quite big, yeah.
Yeah.
You'd almost have to, do like a little mini mall type,
Divide
a
it up.
couple,
Mhm.
2, 3 businesses in there.
Mhm.
It would
That
be
you'd have
kinda-
a central thing and they'd,
Yeah,
central entrance aisle, whatever, kind of rotunda in the middle that they'd be off of, so they'd all get,
because if you had a couple restaurants and maybe even a shared office environment and,
well, if it's a second floor, you could almost put offices up above and still have retail down below.
yep.
If somebody just
Yeah,
wanted
you
a
could.
small office, cause they don't have room in their homes anymore
And
or anything.
Mexican. That's gotta be part of the contract. More Mexican food.
More Mexican, okay.
Want them to cook more of it. I
Okay.
love it. Yeah, it is really big, so they could do something like that, but again,
Yeah.
dreams and wishes and.
But you're also talking, cause, I have the tea shop and I rent from John, is that somebody that's coming in, starting a new business, going into that newly remodeled business building, the rent's not gonna be that cheap to start out
Right,
with.
right.
You've gotta have somebody that's gonna have a business that's coming in, pretty well established, you know, 2 or 3 of them at least, cause, and that's a little
To
difficult.
pay the mortgage on it, yeah.
Yep, mortgage, insurance,
Mhm.
taxes.
Well, I have a niece that's 23, and she says, if you want something bad enough, he will make it happen. She's so cute. How
Ask her
about
that
you,
in 10
Dave?
Ask her that in 10 more years.
Yeah, when you're young, you can say
She's
that.
got 3 kids screaming in a bedroom. Have you driven by it, never,
I have been by it numerous times, never gone inside.
yeah, never had anything
Yeah,
spring
that's
road?
just a shame. That's a lot of money to get it to
Yeah.
square one.
Yeah,
It is, yeah.
I don't know, it's just, boy,
jeez.
you're gonna have a hard time making numbers work on this building, just are.
Sorry, guys.
Okay,
And it's just gonna get worse.
right,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, because the city won't
Yeah, they're not
probably do
doing
anything to
Well,
No.
the
do you
road.
know if the people who
No.
demo have to have certain qualifications, or
Yes,
did I get my nephews to come up and just rip it apart?
well, the people that do the demo are also certified. As they're doing the demo, if they come across an asbestos that wasn't seen before, then they know what it is.
Yeah,
They stop, they get that abated, and then they continue, so.
so it would really be a combination of the abatement and the demo,
Correct, the
not
abatement,
one or the other.
the
Is
abatement,
there even any in there? I can't imagine there's any in there. I
Because-
would've thought asbestos and lead would've been gone in the last remodel.
I haven't heard the test results yet, but the city did start,
Okay.
they did hire a company to test for lead and asbestos.
Well, you don't have to test for
And the
mold.
mold is obvious.
Well, yeah, we know, I
That- we
know
know
that's
that.
in there, but I would've thought that, it's not that it was a very new remodel since that American House was in there, but it was new enough that, I would've thought that should've all
All
been
been, yeah,
out of there when
Yeah.
they did that remodel
Yes.
at that point.
I agree.
So I guess I would be surprised if there's any lead or asbestos in there.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, going back to the Haas Brewery barn,
Mm-hmm.
does anybody, hopefully have them on file somewhere, I don't know if I brought this up last time, about the soil samples that the city took when they took over that lot to find out what's,
Oh, what the earth,
yeah, cause
Well,
there's holes everywhere, they left the barrels there, they just finally, this spring moved the barrels out of our parking lot finally.
yeah,
There were 3 barrels there of whatever they,
to
right.
test.
yeah,
From what I've been told from the city, it's a possible contaminated site.
Oh,
That's all I know is possible.
these sites do not know what.
Maybe they know more than what it is, but,
that also would play into that barn,
mhm,
leaving it there or moving it.
mhm. Okay, any more on the American House? Again, let's just
Move it over.
leave it on and we can talk about it. You might have more information from somebody else. So the next meeting date,
That's July 7th.
is that what it is, July 7th? Yes, Tuesday, July 7th.
6 o'clock. I kept coming at 6:30 for a while.
If that still works for everybody, 6 o'clock,
That's for me.
Yeah,
yep.
okay.
every once in a while.
You're gonna
Be
be
a few
running in
minutes
the
late.
Little League, aren't you?
No.
Oh, I thought for sure your kids would be balling. 'Cause there's so much ball in the summer.
We'll see what happens.
Are we gonna play?
Oh, that's
My
right.
youngest plays soccer, so we'll see if they keep pushing it back, but they're
Okay.
talking about still playing soccer, so we'll see.
Good.
I hope
'Cause I-
you do.
I heard on the radio this last week that parts of Milwaukee, Waukesha were starting up the little leagues this week.
That's good. I hope it turns out well for them too. I don't have on here, but anything anybody would like to put on the agenda for next month?
Well, I have a couple questions. I don't know if it's part of an agenda or not.
Okay,
When you're coming into the town, because we're all about preservation, right? But we've got some homes that aren't necessarily preservation homes,
Mhm.
and their properties are trashed.
Mhm.
What, is there anything we can do about that, or is there a different committee we can talk to?
It's more the planning commission, I think, isn't it?
And it's gonna be on, I asked to have it put on our council agenda.
Okay.
Ludworks is, so next week, Tuesday, Ludworks is gonna explain as much as he can about our ordinance
Okay.
on that. It's been brought up many times, it's been brought up at the last plan commission, it's been brought up at city council,
Okay,
and,
cause boy, there's an apartment building that's going to hell. It's awful. I picked up like 17-gallon jugs out of our yard because their garbage overflows,
okay.
or their recycle probably overflows. And I just feel like they need to be taking care of that. And then those other homes, where we used to live, they had a thing where if it's far enough back in your property, you can't see it from the street, you don't care it's there, we don't care it's there. If it's far enough back, that it's not visible as you drive by. But if it is, you have to take care of it. And, you know, we have a recycle center, so,
That's, we're gonna do a good discussion on that, because there's a lot of people that are, and Dave is on the council now, and there's a lot of people that have been talking about that
so
ordinance.
that's June 9th.
Yes,
There's a lot of, we already have a lot of laws on the books that if we just
Follow.
enforce them.
enforce them.
That's
yeah.
what I was thinking, somebody
Yeah,
has
yeah.
I mean, they're there. I mean, I was reading them and it's there. So all we have to do is like, you know, have somebody go over there and talk to them and here it is.
Yeah, when I lived in Fond du Lac, I had a broken pane in the garage door, and a gentleman walking by reported it to the city, and they showed up at my door, and I had to replace that pane of glass because it was visible.
Mhm.
Oh,
I
that's
found out I
interesting.
can't have my boat on the street.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I knew you couldn't park it there in the winter. I never thought you couldn't park it. You can't leave it there.
we've been.
You can have a car,
Eric,
but
your
not a
boat
boat.
would take up the whole road.
I like mine floating also, I can just go and get on it.
Yeah.
We've been, ordered to cut a tree down. We were spending like $80 a month on vitamins to make it, or help it. And they said, well, by June, or end of summer, so what would that be, September? If it's not better, we're cutting it down and we're charging you. So I don't know how other people get away with all this stuff.
That is a good question.
right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
3 times we've been cited. Once because we had an extra garbage can and we didn't know you only get one garbage can. Both of them were there when we moved in. So we think we've got everything taken care of.
Well, sometimes people need to be reminded.
I don't
I
even
didn't know
mind.
about the boat, and he stopped by and was very nice about it. I'm like, yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
it's now in the driveway. So, I
Right.
think maybe we just need to go around, that'd be a good first start, is to let people know they're not in compliance with what the laws
Yeah,
are now.
you better be packing.
One thing I thought of possibly that might need to be on next month's agenda is, I have a demo permit for 308.
Okay,
I'm trying to get with Tom and Deb and figure out how we're gonna deal with the front yet, so.
308 is,
That building attached to Mapes, the old
Oh.
box studio.
okay, yes, okay.
Tom wants to basically just restore it.
Mhm.
I mean, he may paint it, but we tuck pointing and stuff, which I know that we'll be good with that, but, I'll have to see what else comes up, but probably just as a side note.
Do you want me to, I can put it down, certificate of appropriateness
Yeah,
application.
why don't we, because then
Then
I'll talk to Tom and I'll say we've gotta, you know, in the next week or two here, we need to make some decisions so that I can get that prepared in time for that.
Okay, and if it's not ready, well, then we'll just push it out, and then if
Sure.
we need it quick
Yeah.
again, you know, we can.
But I'll
meet.
talk to Sue,
Okay,
so.
okay. All we need is a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
I second.
Motion by Eric, second by Terry to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carried.